It is January the 5th, Sunday morning, 4th, I'm sorry. Just a quick thing, in case you've been living under a rock, you notice that the United States basically took over Venezuela yesterday. And I find it interesting that in less than 12 hours, there's professionally printed signs that all look the same from New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, with people in the streets with some stupid made-up chant. Hell, we won't go, some stupid thing. I find it interesting. I'm just a regular person. Can somebody just call you out of the blue and get you in the street with a sign at the last minute? Who organizes these things? Who puts this together? I mean, just a thought. Second thought. I remember a time when Venezuela was considered the richest country in all of South America. It was a tourist hotspot at one time. And then when Chavez took over, it just completely turned into a shithole. I remember they were eating all their cats, eating the dogs, eating the wildlife in the jungles. A lot of people don't realize that. The parrots, the monkeys, everything got subjugated, and I don't fault people, hungry stomach. And, but Venezuela got destroyed for the past, 25, 30 years. And though I don't just necessarily support the government going in and doing that, but here's the interesting thing, because I said this to a friend of mine. I wonder if the prices of illicit drugs have gone up, street drugs, because supply and demand, right? So if the border gets tightened up and you're knocking off these suppliers and the routes to get into this country, what's happening to the drug prices, the street drug prices? I don't know. I'm not in that culture. I'm sure you'll find out if you ask around. You'll find out the price of cocaine might be going up at this point. The other thing I wanted to say about it is the oil will make Venezuela rich again. And depending on who see, when Maduro took it over, Chavez took it, they nationalized the oil, which means that they took the profits from the oil and they were basically selling it to China. All right. They were taking the profit, China and the Soviet Union. Soviet Union has nationalized their natural resources too. It's not owned by a private company, but the government owns it. So they take all the funds from the profit of these things and funnel it into whatever they deem necessary. So whatever Venezuela was doing with their oil revenue, I don't know, but it sure wasn't about taking care of the people. This is what collectivism does. This is what guys like Mandani do. This is communist bullshit. You nationalize certain resources and you use it and you put it into what you want it to go to instead of into a private company. So what happens is when you have this happen, when you nationalize it, they don't keep up the infrastructure. They don't keep up infrastructure and technology to keep the product coming. So if you are in the oil business and you nationalize your oil, and maybe the Russians aren't like this because they are in their, they're always making weaponry, so they keep that going on. So if you are, Chavez or Maduro, are you putting money into your oil rigs? Are you putting money into development, into technology to make it much more efficient? Are you doing these things? I don't think so. Anyway, the oil market is always speculative. The price of oil per barrel will reflect on what happened in Venezuela. So, in any other end of the spectrum, all the leftists are losing their minds, which is normal. They lose sleep over this stuff. So, hey, I sleep like a baby because I've learned over the years. And in case you don't realize, there's legal precedence for Trump to do this, and it happened with George W. Bush, with Panama and Noriega. They did the same thing down there. So in case you think that Trump doesn't have the legal authority to do that, well, it's been done before without any issues. And all the bluster of Democrat politicians and some Republican politicians and leftist lunatics, it's going to amount to nothing. They're just going to keep losing their collective mind and stroke out and have heart attacks and ulcers and all the other things that go along with their foolishness. So just something to think about. Till next time.